Module 2, Basics of Medical Writing. In the previous module, we have understood the basics of medical writing. In this module, we are going to discuss some more details on medical writing process. Here we go. The question is, what does a medical writer actually do? With new scientific discoveries and increased information constantly being added to the field of medicine, information needs to be effectively communicated to the correct people, e.g., patients, clinicians, commissioners, etc., tailored to their level of understanding, i.e., using the appropriate writing style and scientific language and in the appropriate format. What skills do they need to have? It is often said medical writing inhabits an interesting sweet spot where science and art meet. However, it is critical to possess a clear understanding of where the scientific facts stop and the expressive art begins. There are various skills that a senior medical writer needs in order to create a representative, appropriate, and resonating story. Here are the top 5. 1. Get familiar quickly. They need to quickly grasp new therapy areas, concepts, and terminology, especially in this modern world, where therapies and technology are advancing extremely quickly. Think immunotherapy, CRISPR, and AI. 2. Write well and with flair. Data from clinical trials or clinical research development is often very complex, therefore, writers must succinctly interpret and represent this data with accuracy, great grammar, and flair. Everyone loves a good story. Attention to detail, clarity in meaning, and remaining unbiased are also extremely important, particularly when dealing with subjects like drug safety. 3. Know your audience. Complex information about therapeutic areas and life science needs to be tailored to the target audience. For example, the language used for regulatory writing will be very different to that used in a patient information leaflet or education module. Pitching at the right level is vital in communication. Much like trying to communicate with locals on holiday, you have to speak their language. Shouting louder doesn't help. What skills do they need to have? 4. Project management skills. A medical writer will often have a number of projects running simultaneously. They need to be organized with the ability to stick to strict timelines without losing the quality of work. This means project management skills are a must, so accepting responsibilities, being proactive, and delegating efficiently are part and parcel of the role. 5. Forward thinking. Good medical writers will always keep learning and enhancing their skills by undergoing regular CPD. The best will also look for new ways to create interesting and resonating work by embracing technology to communicate more effectively with audiences and clients alike. Steps in writing scientific documents. 1. Understanding the project brief. Before you start writing, the medical writer needs to understand the purpose of the document being written and what the sponsor wants to achieve through it. In addition, the timelines to be followed, the data to be studied, and the review approval process to be followed need to be known. 2. Literature search and review of information. Adequate preparation and time spent on reading and analyzing literature will provide valuable information that a professional writer can use to validate the text being written properly. A proper search strategy and sorting into accessible chunks of the collected information is very critical. 3. Authoring and compiling the document. The drafting of the document's first edition usually takes the most time. Creating the draft involves familiarity with the type of text, its purpose, and its contents. The use of a predefined template simplifies the work. Having adequate language skills and adopting the in-house or company-style guide at this juncture, apart from the scientific part of the text, is useful for minimizing subsequent review and revision times. 4. The review process. Scientific document review process involves content review and editorial formatting review. The former is typically done by a senior medical writer with more experience and a specialization the subject matter who may be an expert in the clinical or therapy field. Also required is quality control (QC) of contents, involving the cross-checking of all verifiable information with the source data. Typically, this is performed by a pair of scientific doctors. The medical writer must, however, do a comprehensive self-examination of the document's first draft before it goes for further inspection. 5. Formatting and editing. Formatting, checking text font and size consistency, line and paragraph spacing, headers and footers, margins, page numbers, etc. And editing, speaking, e.g., US or British English, spelling, punctuation marks, correctives of tense, appropriate reference style, etc. of documents is a skill that every writer needs to learn to make their document more presentable and acceptable. Reports that are needed for publication or electronic publishing must be carefully edited, proofread and reviewed for specifications for formatting. 6. Approval and sign-off. All scientific papers require approval and sign-off from the appointed approver, typically an expert. The approver may be in-house or external, and the approver must be given sufficient time to review the document and sign it off. 7. Electronic publishing. Electronic publishing is about making the material available for online access in digital format. There are now a number of software tools available for e-publishing, and a modern-day medical writer may need to be familiar with their use. Such as WordPress, design tools, publishing tools, etc.